What's going on, vinyl community? Welcome to another video with the Record Spinner. In today's video, I'm going to be showcasing and discussing the Electric Recording Company pressing of the White Stripes White Blood Cells. This video will discuss a little bit of the background of the Electric Recording Company, followed by an unboxing and overall first impressions of what I think of this particular pressing. Now, let me emphasize that this video is not going to be about my thoughts on ERC as a label. I'll save those thoughts for a potential future video. But anyways, there is a lot to delve into, so enough of the chit chat. Let's jump into what this video is all about. So if you are a hardcore vinyl aficionado, you probably already know about what entails with the Electric Recording Company, but to those that aren't in the loop, they are a reissue label based in England, specializing in high-quality audiophile reissues. Their releases are always mastered from original analog sources using a 1950s Lyric EMI valve tape machine with dedicated Ortophon stereo and mono cutting heads. Their jackets are handcrafted using a vintage letterpress procedure, and each release is strictly limited to roughly around 300 copies and numbered with signed certificates by the producer. Now, given all the meticulous detail that goes into these releases, they run about 350 British pounds, which converted to US dollars and overseas shipping to factor in, it's usually rounded to about $500. They started out doing classical reissues, but have since expanded into the jazz and rock realms, and typically upon releases being announced and the quantities being so limited, they tend to sell out in the matter of minutes with the promise that no repress will be done. Now, for as much as I am an average consumer of vinyl, I do also delve a bit into the audiophile level. Yes, my setup is rather modest and I don't use cables that cost thousands of dollars, but it's a realm that's always intrigued me because I care about sound quality and hearing things the best they possibly can sound, which is why I do own UHQRs from Analog Productions and Ultra Discs from MoFi, releases that generally go into the three-figure mark, but the ERC definitely takes the gold in terms of being the most expensive in the audiophile realm. Now, I typically will not shell out $500 for a single record unless it was something of extreme rarity value, but that has yet to be seen. It boils down to the principle that I saw it out in the wild, and given the stigma that surrounds the ERC, I wanted to see what the hype was all about for myself, so I can say that I have one of their pressings and I got to see and hear what entails with them. The Electric Recording Company pressing of the White Stripes White Blood Cells first emerged in 2021 when the album celebrated its 20th anniversary. It was limited to 333 copies and sold out quickly, but since this was also done in conjunction with Third Man, they pressed up a small private batch for the 3 locations in Nashville, Detroit, and London to carry in-store and briefly online. Now, the amount is unknown, but it's speculated that each store got roughly 10 copies. Now, if you caught the documentary on the youngest members of the VC's travels to New Orleans, we also hightailed to Nashville, and our last stop was at Third Man Records, where I saw this pressing for sale, and I had this gut feeling that I would perhaps never see it out again in the wild, and it's also my favorite White Stripes album, so my decision was just slightly biased, but I bought it out of impulse. Now, Third Man was charging $450, which is close to the 350 British pounds conversion, but since I am also a Vault member, I got 10% off, so $45 off, which came out to $405. A little bit of a generous discount, and maybe the only discount to be seen on a record like this, and yes, that price is indeed the most I've spent on a single LP, so I broke a little personal record. Now, upon purchasing the record, I was given a copy that was still packaged in the box as if it was to be shipped out, and I knew I wanted to do a video about this pressing, so since coming home from vacation, this thing has remained sealed, and now I'm going to unbox it for all of you on camera, and just like so, I will be switching angles. Okay, so as you see here, the box does have the Electric Recording Company sticker, and there's also this sticker as well on the side, which lists which edition number this copy is. It says it's 121. I don't know how accurate that number might be, if this is part of the regular 333 run, or if it's part of the private press that was done for the Third Man locations, but we'll take it for what it is. But we got some packing tape here on the bottom. And let's get this bad boy open. Okay, so now the record itself, and I've seen this in other unboxing videos for the electric recording company, it is sandwiched in between all of these cardboard stiffeners and shrink wrapped. Now, I do have to say I probably will end up saving that piece of cardboard there just because it does have the logo of the label there. So let's cut a little, cut a little incision there. Okay, so here is the piece of cardboard on top. I'm going to set this off to the side because I'm definitely going to want to be saving that, just because it's a little bit of design. All right, and we'll put those cardboard bits there. And the record comes housed in this sort of almost tissue paper type material that's held together with tape. I'm going to try to unwrap this as delicately as possible. And here is the record. Now I'm going to put this somewhere safe as well because I'm going to try to save that. And here is the record itself. Now, as you see, it does come in this sort of almost thick PVC type jacket, which is quite heavy duty. It even has the electric recording company logo embossed onto the plastic, which is quite nice. And there's even a sticker right on the plastic which says True Valve Stereo Cut. Now I gotta figure out how to open up this thing. Jeez. Looks like we have like another, I don't know if this is like a peelable seal type deal. Here, let me place this down. That way we can get this open. Oh, it's a sticker. Sort of. Oh, I see. And it comes out like this. So set this off to the side. And here it is. So as you see, there's almost like this clear, almost parchment tracing paper type obi, which kind of slides in and out like that. And I'll give you guys some close-ups of what it says. Has some credits, also has some details about this being an officially sanctioned Third Man Records all-valve heritage pressing master from the original analog master tapes, cut in stereo using 1965 Lyric TR-18 tape console, Ortofon GOS valve amplifiers, Lyric SV8 cutting lathe, and Ortofon cutter head DSS731, handcrafted sleeve artwork faithfully replicated using a vintage letterpress procedure, released in strictly limited, individually numbered edition of 333, cut from the original first generation flat mastered 1/4 inch 15 inch per second tapes. So good stuff there. And here is the back. Now there's also something I should take out. Geez, how do I get this out? Okay, so this right here is the certificate signed by the proprietor of the electric recording company. So as you see, it does have the album name, the artist name, members of the band, editions 333. Mastering engineers were CJ Potter and GD Davey. This was manufactured in 2021 with the ERC catalog number and the signature by the proprietor. And just like the sticker on the box says, edition number 121. Now this sort of obi type thing comes off just like that. And here is the jacket. Now, as you see here, this is a nice, thick tip-on style jacket with a nice bit of spot varnish finish, particularly with the figures in black on the cover, as well as the black border, and then the main image itself that features Jack and Meg is a nice sort of matte type finish. So that is very nice. And then here is the jacket, and as you can see, hopefully you can catch it on camera, but the letterpress method comes to play with the text of the track list. It's almost like an embossment type thing, almost like a reverse embossment. You can kind of feel it right there. I don't know if you can really catch it. It's so tough with the ring light, but that is a very nice touch, very deluxe to the touch. So now we'll take this out. And we have an insert here, which has artwork as well as all the lyrics. This is basically the CD booklet, but just spread across a 4-panel insert. Overall, faithfully replicated. Very nice. And here is the record itself, which comes in 2 inner sleeves, basically. So we have a paper one here, and then we have another Nagaoka inner sleeve, which is poly-lined, or a nice lined sleeve, I should say. And here is the vinyl itself. Standard labels from the standard pressing that we all know, but overall, aside from a little bit of debris on the surface of the vinyl, which honestly is going to be relatively easy to just get off with a carbon fiber brush, this looks absolutely beautifully pressed on, I gotta say for myself, I mean, the most virgin vinyl that I've witnessed, and it just has a beautiful mirror-like finish. You can definitely see it kind of in the dead wax area, but this is completely nice. And as you can see in the dead wax etchings there, this is pressed over at Record Industry in the Netherlands, and I'm just getting excited looking at this record alone. I mean, I can tell that a lot of time and effort was put into this thing in terms of the cut, the presentation. It's very top notch, and ultimately, oh look, interesting. So you have the Nagaoka inner sleeve, and then this is also poly-lined as well. Get a look at that. Nice extra bit of protection there. But obviously, you know, the price that you pay with this stuff, you know, it results in the time and the procedures that are put into making a product like this. And this is definitely a one-of-a-kind thing. And just by the unboxing alone, this is rather impressive. But of course, at the end of the day, what matters is how it sounds. And we'll find out about that ultimately. But so far, I'm rather impressed so far with what I'm seeing. Beautiful stuff. So now that it is out of the box, it is now time to put this on the turntable and see how this record sounds. So in the matter of a snap, I will have listened to the record and will report my thoughts. Holy crap, my mind is blown, and I have a lot to say about this pressing. So before going into the nitty-gritty, it does have to be said that White Blood Cells isn't exactly a hi-fi recording, but given Jack White's affinity for the analog realm and the fact that it was recorded to tape, it makes for an interesting choice for the Electric Recording Company to tackle this particular album. Now, the best word that I can use to describe this pressing is detailed. While this record was more or less recorded live in the studio with overdubs applied, it doesn't come across as just this massive wall of sound. Each mix component and all the songs stand out in their own right, and it gives them a specific character. The album's opener, Dead Leaves in the Dirty Ground, has these multi-tracked guitars that come across with much more impact than I've ever heard before. And despite the White Stripes not having a bassist, Meg White's bass drum has so much oomph to it that you can really feel it throughout the record. Even some of the percussion flourishes, such as extra tambourine, stand out more in the mix than having it become second nature and blending in with the song's arrangement. There's also this sense of clarity in Jack's vocals, especially in a track like Little Room where the vocals are so upfront and confrontational. I almost had to move back in my listening chair. It was so intense. And of course, the acoustic guitars have this very intimate quality to them, of course, on tracks such as Hotel Yorba and We Are Going to Be Friends. The Hammond organ either provides some depth in a song like The Same Boy You've Always Known, or a more sinister tone in The Union Forever. One fun little Easter egg that I never noticed before are the subtle trade-off guitars in between the verses of the song Expecting, and the way that they're panned left and right. So that was very, very fun to listen to. And even the album's closer, This Protector, with its bare bones arrangement of piano and vocals, is a prime example of hearing the sound of the recording room that Jack and Meg were working in at the time. There is a true science when it comes to mastering audiophile pressings, such as this one, that surpasses anything that is released in mainstream outlets for common or average listeners. This pressing is mastered specifically for the analytical listener to really digest yet also enjoy. And it's one thing too to really enjoy the album by itself. And like I said, White Blood Cells is my favorite White Stripes record. What better option could there possibly be for a pressing as lavish as this? And the fact that I did not detect any sibilance whatsoever on this pressing, which is a frequent yet possible occurrence in the world of vinyl mastering, is absolutely astounding. And aside from hearing just one pop in between songs on side one, this is also a pleasantly quiet pressing. While audiophiles and hi-fi enthusiasts are automatically dialed into the market that the Electric Recording Company markets within, hype plays a huge role when it comes to these types of releases being sold to an outside demographic. Now, like I said, I love buying UHQRs and Ultra Discs, but this was on another tier that seemed over my head, and obviously I had my moment of impulse when I purchased it at Third Man. And while the packaging and presentation alone is world-class, there is always that thought that crosses one's mind before the record is put on the turntable, and one may say to themselves, I hope I don't regret this. And given how pleased I was with the sound, detail, and clarity of this pressing, I'm glad to say that I don't regret this purchase. Now, will I go after another Electric Recording Company pressing? Probably not. ERC tends to stick to the jazz and classical realm, and while I do enjoy those genres, I just don't go to it too frequently. They just started to warm up to rock albums like The Doors' debut and Love Forever Changes. It honestly may be another case like Third Man, where if I happen to see it out in the wild and the price is right, then it's meant to be. But if that does not happen, I'm happy to have this at least. Now, here is something intriguing. Electric Recording Company used the original master tape for this pressing, and all other recent vinyl reissues of White Blood Cells are also mastered all analog from the master tape, and those pressings average roughly around $30 or maybe less secondhand. So between two all analog mastered pressings, is it worth doing a shootout video comparing the two pressings? Leave me a comment down below. I'd love to know. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, give it a like, and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next video, and most importantly, keep the records spinning.